Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This is the Weekly Pint. It's not a show. It's a happy hour. It's an excuse for me and you to hang out together, to have a drink, to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And usually what we want to talk about has to do with booze, drinking, beer, wine, spirits, cocktails, RTDs, weed water. It doesn't matter. If it's a beverage, we like to talk about it here on this show, on this thing, the show that is not a show. Welcome back. I appreciate all of you for hanging out with me because it's a happy hour. See, it's like we like to pretend that we are sitting across from each other at a bar or at a table. I always say at a bar. You don't really sit across from each other at a bar unless you're behind the bar, which Marco is behind the bar. So Marco is behind the bar, and we're all lined up in front of the bar drinking together. But because we're doing that, you have to tell me what you're drinking because that's how we connect with each other. Let's see. Julia says, in solidarity with everyone who got stuck putting up Christmas decorations already, having a holiday ale from Westside. We'll talk about it. Ryan says, back. Josh is having a Westside Dippa. Julia is back. I am not drinking anything yet, but we will in a minute. Again, as you're jumping onto the stream, please tell me what it is that you're drinking. Also, if you're tuning in from TikTok, let me know. I think we might be streaming to TikTok. I don't actually know. I tried to turn it on. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, I don't know how that works because it's vertical versus horizontal. I don't know if you can do horizontal on TikTok. I actually don't. Maybe we should look at that. Maybe we should see what's going on. Chris says, I just finished an amazing 2022 Esther's Little Secret, the Caramel Pecan Scotch Ale. Oh, that sounds so good. With Highlander Grog, barrel-aged. Now, 2023, the Secret Coconut Cream Milk Stout. That sounds great, too. Ryan is winding down with a Lime Voss from Sonder. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm getting thirsty. All right, I'm pulling up TikTok, and I'm going to see what's happening here. It doesn't look like I'm live, but I'm pretty sure I told it to make me live. Well, maybe it doesn't tell me that I'm live because I'm on my account. I don't know. I don't think I'm live. That's disappointing. Unless I... See, even on... I hate TikTok so much. Derek says, no beverages for me tonight. None at all? Not even water? Yeah, I don't think I'm live on TikTok. Oh, man. I really thought I figured it out. If anybody else has TikTok, just get on there and check and see if I'm live on TikTok. I'm just kind of curious. One of these days I'll figure out how to be live everywhere across the universe, all at the same time. Okay, I need to drink something. As Julia hinted at earlier, I've had a very strange day. I'm looking at the thing that I'm about to open up, and I'm not okay with it. I need to make this very clear right off the bat. So we typically kick the show off with a thing that I call the schnappening. And it started because, probably last year, right? I really enjoyed drinking peppermint schnapps around Christmas time. So I starting the show off with a little nip of peppermint schnapps. And then it turned into just every week drinking schnapps, and then it turned into just every week just drinking something. Peppermint schnapps is the perfect schnapps. It's great. It's delicious. It's seasonal. It's fun. However, it's only appropriate at Christmas time, in the Christmas season, which we are not in the Christmas season. I need to make that very clear right now. At this moment, I need to emphasize that this is still the fall. We're not even close to Thanksgiving yet. I mean, we're approaching Thanksgiving, but we're not close. Christmas season does not start until after Thanksgiving, ever, no matter what. If you want to listen to Christmas music, you're wrong. You don't listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving. If you want to put up your Christmas decorations, you're wrong. You don't put them up before Thanksgiving. With all of that being said, I'm going to drink some peppermint schnapps today. So I took on a little part-time gig with a local organization, we'll say. I don't want to put too much out there. I don't think I'm supposed to. I don't know how that works. I don't know, especially since I'm drinking. I took on a part-time gig with a local organization as a photographer. That's what I do. I take pictures in my day job, pictures and video, and make audio shows and things. You guys know that. I took on this part-time role, and this organization throws a huge wintry thing. We're gonna say a huge festival every winter, and they're prepping for it. And I guess the couple weeks leading up to this festival, we got to help decorate. Which I did not know before today. I did not know leading into today. However, was thrust into literally, I'm not even like exaggerating or making something up here, to putting up 75 Christmas trees. We didn't have to put ornaments on these trees, but they're full on like lit Christmas trees. I had to put up, the group of, I think, 5 of us had to put up 75 Christmas trees today. And they're artificial trees, but I did not even know that they hurt. Like after a while, your hands start to get these little micro cuts on them from the artificial needles. And it sucks. And it sucked. And it was not a fun day. And it made me kind of like grumpy about Christmas already, and we're not even to the Christmas season. So this peppermint schnapps out of my Moose shot glass will hopefully, I don't bring some kind of balance to the universe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm hoping from this, other than the fact that it'll probably taste good. I'm sorry, I've been missing the Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News stream over here. Let's see. Missing Mountain Zwickel Trickle. That's what you're drinking. Okay. John wants to know how I feel about the RTD surge is affecting the craft beer market. That is a huge topic we will talk about later. Give me a little bit. And they say that I am live on TikTok. Hello, TikTok. I think, I don't know if you comment on TikTok, if I'll see it. I think so. I think that's the way it's supposed to work, but I don't know. So hello, TikTok. Hello, all of you TikTokers. We're drinking schnapps. I did not read the rules, the community standards for TikTok about drinking and how I'm supposed to talk about drinking, but this is a drinking show, so I might get kicked off TikTok if this is against rules. But Prost. It smells like not the fall. I'm going to say that. Oh, you know what? Oh, God. If liquefied candy canes didn't taste so much like winter and Christmas, I would drink this every day. It is so good. Shout out to Voltage Peppermint Schnapps. We won't say too much. This is the best product that comes out of March 1st brands. This stuff is delicious, and we have multiple bottles here in our house. I have now started stashing bottles at other houses that I spend a lot of time at in the winter season, just to prep, just to make sure that wherever I am, there are peppermint schnapps ready to go. That's the way it works. This, it's so good. That might be the best schnappening we've had in a long time. Shout out to the old moose shot glass. If we want to go down a quick little rabbit hole before we get too far into it, Chris says Doshers, the French chew guys. Yeah, 100%. I believe, and I don't know the full story. So they're peppermint. Was one of the first peppermint candies in the country. Is that right? I could be making that up, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the first peppermint candies in the country. Definitely one of the oldest candy companies in Cincinnati. It's so good. And this just tastes like you take the peppermint and just melt it down into some kind of cauldron of happiness. That's what it tastes like. Oh, so good. Okay. Julia says that Josh just brought us both up a shot of Voltage Peppermint Schnapps. Heck yeah, let's do it. It's not Christmassy. This is a very specific fall peppermint schnapps. That's the way we're doing this today. Fall schnapps. Fall peppermint schnapps. Before we get into a beer, because I do have a beer, I have a choice that you guys need to make sitting right there. Before we get into that, I got to thank the show's sponsor. This week's episode is sponsored. In fact, this entire month is sponsored. And it's sponsored for a very good reason, because hopefully some of you have already got this on your calendar. Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, so the day that we can start drinking peppermint schnapps and call it wintry or Christmassy or whatever you want to call it. We're doing a live show down at the Cincinnati Christkindl Market at Moorline Lager House. Put it on your calendar. We're going to hang out all night, but 7 p.m. I'm doing a live show from the Christkindl Market because they are doing a big holiday beer extravaganza. It's like it's a beer festival, but it's a little more it's a little more special than a beer festival. It's not like your typical beer festival where you just stand in a parking lot and drink a bunch of beer that doesn't mean anything. These are all like Christmas beers and fun holiday beers in a huge fest tent at Christkindl Market. There's a big stage in there. We're going to do a live show. There's going to be obviously all the beer on tap to drink, and then all of the typical Christkindl Market joy that you can take part in, all of the booths and all that stuff. They're going to have booths that open up into the tent this year, so you can get food, hang out in the world's biggest gnome dome that exists. I think I hinted at that a few months ago, that there might be a large gnome dome involved. This is a big gnome dome. You can hang out in the gnome dome, and we're gonna talk about winter drinking. We might have hot pokers involved in this show, so stay tuned. Be there. I'm considering this like a, well, I think I also talked about this probably months ago, that I want to start doing frequent, like quarterly, like opportunities for us all to hang out in person and actually have a drink in person instead of just on the internet like this. Consider this one of those. Come hang out with us. Like, we're going to hang out and poke beers and drink things that are wintry and fun. But this episode is sponsored by the Cincinnati Christkindl Market. I actually made a little fun little graphic. Sponsored by Cervati's Cincinnati Christkindl Market at Moorline Lager House. So shout out to them. I appreciate them so much for helping to make this show happen this entire month, and for helping to make a fun live event out of something, because as much as I love making podcasts and YouTube videos and things like that, hanging out in person is always more fun, right? So hang out in person. Let's drink in person. We'll talk about it again a little bit later, but shout out to them for helping make this happen. Okay, I need a beer, or I could just keep drinking schnapps all night. I have 3 different choices. All right, we can go. Here are your choices, and I need 2 votes for the same one. And the way I recognize votes is when they pop up on my screen. So I will count this stream over here, which is the Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News. This is your chat over here that I'm pointing at. And I have a chat over here. That's all the other stuff, I think. TikTok, I don't know if you're working. I don't know if I can read TikTok comments on either one of these screens, or if anybody's on TikTok. I don't know. But if you comment on TikTok, you might not count because I haven't seen anybody. And then, okay, so 2 votes on some kind of screen that I can see. Your choices are, we're going to go something actually seasonal, something medal winning, or something that I would typically drink. Those are your 3 choices. And I need 2 votes for one of them, and then we will crack it open and we will dive in. Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says TikTok is definitely working, and there were a couple viewers over there. It doesn't mean that they are they're chatting, because I have not seen a single TikTok comment come through on any kind of screen. I have a medal winner. Oh, I got 2 medal winners right off the bat. Okay. Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News and Chris both say medal winner. Julia says medal. Okay. This is not a local beer. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to go with a medal winner. Ryan says seasonal. All right, if I crush this fast enough, we'll get to the actually seasonable one. This is a Fatheads beer. Shout out to Fatheads. I don't drink enough Fatheads. They make good beer, and this is a definitely a medal-winning beer. Gogglefogger. This is their German Hefeweizen. I picked this up for fully intending to do a YouTube video about it, and it was in the fridge teasing me, so I decided to drink it tonight instead because it sounded good. I don't know the last time I had this beer, and that is fun. Chris says that Ohio is local enough. I like that. We're going to at least put it in a common beer company glass. That makes it a little more local, right? Hefeweizen. Man, that's a pretty beer. So when I was an early craft beer drinker, Julia says, is that a rewrapped can? I can't, it certainly looks like it. Yeah, it is. Okay. We'll have to do some sciencing here. Do I have a knife close by? Hang on. We'll figure this out. When I was an early craft beer drinker, Hefeweizen was one of those styles that I latched onto pretty quickly early. Anytime you get a rewrapped can, you have to dive into it and see what exactly it was before. Do we have any guesses? Julia says, sorry, didn't mean to squirrel the show. It happens. Ooh, this is interesting. Any guesses at all? I'm going to tell you this is not a can that originated from Fatheads. It looks like they bought some cans from somebody else. Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says Headhunter. Wrong. Julia says a non-fathead beer. Yes, these are cans that I'm going to assume they bought from another brewery that were maybe some surplus cans that they had. I'll give you like 30 more seconds to make another guess before I reveal. Chris says Great Lakes. You're onto it here. It is a Great Lakes beer. This is a can of Crushworthy from Great Lakes. I love it. It's like a fun little scavenger hunt. If you remember this Crushworthy low-cal melon wheat. I don't know if I ever had that. It sounds pretty good. I had to have had it. Now I have pieces of wrapper all over me. Do you remember back when Braxton packaged water for like a hurricane or something, and they just used like one of their beer cans and then wrapped it with a wrap that was for water and then packaged water and sent it off to the hurricane victims. And somebody grabbed it and swore that Braxton was actually packaging beer and calling it water and tricking people. And the news picked it up and ran with the story that Braxton was giving people beer when it was supposed to be water. And it's incredible. This is clearly not what this beer is, but okay, let me get into this and see. Definitely a Hefeweizen. There is no melon involved, although there is like a fun little banana note. Surprise, surprise. This is. What is their most award-winning beer? Does anybody know that? I guess Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News. You might know this better than me, or one of your viewers or listeners might know this better than me. What is Fathead's most award-winning beer? Is it this one? Is it Headhunter? Is it something else? Why is there pieces of label everywhere? All right. Oh, you know what? Coming off of the peppermint schnapps straight into a Hefeweizen is a little strange, but that's a good beer. Alpenglow, Headhunter, or Gogglefogger, probably. I don't keep track of like all the Ohio medals. I have a very big spreadsheet of every medal from Cincinnati, dating back to the 80s, and so I can give like pretty accurate stats on Cincinnati medals. But Ohio, I've seen plenty of award ceremonies, but I don't know. Alpenglow is a Weissenbach, yeah. I almost think it might be Gogglefogger. Okay, Julia says that AI, Google's AI specifically, is saying Headhunter, but it's AI, so grain of salt. Let's ask ChatGPT and see what it says. What is Fathead's most award-winning beer? All right. Okay. It says, "Hey, Mr. Gnome." I always like when ChatGPT knows that I'm the gnome. A good question. For Fathead's Brewery, Ohio, the beer that clearly stands out as their most decorated is Headhunter IPA. Headhunter has earned gold medals at both the World Beer Cup and the Great American Beer Festival. Flagship. If you'd like, I can dig in and pull all the awards Headhunter's accumulated, plus compare to their other beers like Hop Juju or Gogglefogger. Yeah, that's what I need. Oh, and then it's okay. See, this is where it gets creepy. I can pull all the awards, so you have a full-on trophy list for your Wingin' It content or your newsletter. Okay, Wingin' It is not a thing that, like, I wrote an article about wings. I never called it Wingin' It. That's not a thing that exists. And the newsletter, I don't really have an active newsletter. I mean, I guess technically I do, but anyways, all right, yeah. Yes, please. That would be nice. Thank you. I think you should always be nice to your AI assistants. just in case they ever turn on us. So I'm always very polite. Lots of please and thank yous and things like that. All right, ChatGPT is thinking, and now it's searching for beer awards. Give it a minute because it's going to search through a bunch of beers. Julia says, tell us, producer David. Bonehead Red Imperial IPA has also won quite a few. All right, we're summarizing awards now. Clarifying. Okay, that's good. All right. Absolutely. Short version, it's Headhunter IPA. Here's the medal count from the 2 big global competitions. That's still not even the right answer. Headhunters won 6 major medals. That seems a little low. Hop Juju's got 5. Goggle Fogger's got 3. Okay. If you want, I can also pull a quick one-pager listing every Fatheads medal by year category. No, I don't need that. So you can drop it in your newsletter. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe I'm supposed to be like putting out newsletters more often than I do. Maybe. I don't know. Ethan says, cheers from the Dirty 330. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I think it's an area code. Chris says, just in case, you mean win, right? Okay. It's a good beer. It's a good beer. Going back to what I was saying before, like when I first started drinking a lot of craft beer, when I was a young craft beer drinker, I loved Hefeweizen, and I kind of not fell off of it. I stopped drinking it as often as I was back then. And then maybe in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I've kind of gotten back into it way more. And I have started to appreciate it more. I think in the same way that I don't, in my head, I don't think that I love Belgian beer. I think in my head sometimes when I'm sitting there and I'm looking at a beer list and I read Hefeweizen, I think my brain exaggerates like what the esters in the beer are going to taste like. I don't know if that makes any sense, but in my head, it's like it's way more like clovey and banana-y than it actually is. And I think that's the same with Belgian beer. Like in my head, those big Belgian esters are way bigger than they actually are. Now, sometimes they are extremely big, but I don't know. I don't know if any of that makes sense. Ryan says, minor news. I am painting a mural at Wandering Monsters on Saturday if anybody wants to come by and say, hey, that's cool. Hopefully it's just a big mural of me as a gnome drinking beers. I got a bottle of peppermint schnapps in one hand and a big Oktoberfest beer in a stein in the other, a proper stein in the other, and this big stupid grin on my face, and then I'm sitting on a big pile of wings, big pile of chicken wings, both drums and flats. For all of you who are going into your wing places and telling them you want only flats, don't do that. You need both. Both is important. That's the mural that I hope to see. Maybe it's something else, but that would be fun. It would be kind of cool. So, on to the show topic. I don't know if you guys have been reading the news, but supposedly craft beer is dead. That's what local news wants us to think. That's what pretty much every article that I've read about craft beer in the last year has seemingly wanted us to think. That the world is over. If you're a craft beer fan, tough. Nobody wants it anymore. And if you're a company that makes craft beer, definitely tough. You need to start making something else because craft beer is dead. That's that's what I keep reading, and I don't think it's real. I don't think that's the actual story, and I want to kind of put my spin on this whole thing and kind of give you my opinion about it, and it's not wrong. It's not. Well, it is wrong. It's not completely inaccurate. We'll put it that way. Julia says, I saw Ryan's mural idea on Instagram. It's gnome and the infamous Burt Reynolds pose, but on a bed of wings instead of a fur rug. I like that. I think that there is obviously some truth to the fact that craft beer is struggling. We've seen it. It is a different world now than it was 10 years ago, and that shouldn't be a shocker to anybody, even the people that are just now opening up a brewery or have opened one in the last 5 years. The world is different. Craft beer drinkers are different. That doesn't mean it's dead. And there have been a lot of people that like to jump on the idea that craft beer is declining and start to extrapolate upon that some kind of click-worthy story that means craft beer is not a thing anymore. Clearly, we all know, hopefully, I mean, this is not a beer show. The Weekly Pint is a drinking show. So I'm going to assume, I'm going to put it out there in the universe that there are people that are jumping onto this live stream. Welcome, TikTok. I'm assuming that there are people that are jumping on this that maybe are booze drinkers or cocktail drinkers or seltzer drinkers or weed water drinkers. We love you, weed water drinkers. Welcome. But I think that the vast majority of the people that are on this show or listening to this show are beer people. And there's a good reason for that. Because beer is the fabric of society. It is the thing that sits underneath of everything else. No matter how popular everything else gets, beer will always be there. Beer doesn't go away. It doesn't die. It doesn't change that dramatically, even when new styles pop up and things, and there's cool little trendy things that are happening. I'm pointing to this. It's a Hefeweizen. That's not trendy. Even when that's happening, underneath of all of it, there is this soul of what makes beer tie it all together. I hope that makes some kind of sense. You've got breweries like Fatheads that are making beers like a traditional German Hefeweizen that will hopefully always be around. And even if, knock on wood, even if one day Fatheads is not around or this beer is not around, there will be somebody else making this beer, a beer like this, a traditional German Hefeweizen, a style that has been around for God knows how long. I'm going to say hundreds of years. It's not going anywhere because it can't. It won't. It's not able to. And in a market like we're looking at right now, where there are other things happening, and there's other things that I consider fun. I think the whole weed water thing is fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to partake in. It's fun to let it kind of be a part of what we do. I like booze. You know, I'm drinking peppermint schnapps tonight. That's fun. That is a product that I think is fun. There are other things that exist next to beer that I partake in, and that I think we should all partake in. Just because some of those become popular or become trendy or things that a large majority of people are consuming, just because that's happening doesn't mean that you, and I'm speaking to the you out there in the world, just because you as a producer see this happening, that doesn't mean you have to do it. It also doesn't mean that you can't do it. And I think that is a hard thing for a lot of places to figure out the balance between. And that to me is the story that we should be talking about right now. Not that craft beer is dying or that weed water is in this crazy, boom right now. None of that is a real story. Like, that happens. It happens over and over again with different products. None of that's exciting. None of it's important. None of it actually means anything. The thing that means something, the thing that everybody should be watching right now, is how these companies adapt and evolve with the things that are happening around them. And some of them are just going balls to the wall. Excuse the expression. I don't. Is that inappropriate to talk about balls on walls? I don't know. There are some companies that will just jump on whatever trend is in front of them, and they will go all in on it. And sometimes that works really, really well. Sometimes you hit it at the right time. You make the product that people are wanting, and it works. And we've seen that I don't know how many times. The breweries have just caught that right thing at the right time. I'm not taking away from that. The more exciting thing for me is the breweries that don't do that. The breweries, and we'll use Rheingeist as an easy example. I love Rheingeist. Cincy Light is always hanging out here in the background of the video. They have stayed independent even as they have become a top 20 brewery in the country. My hands hurt. There's these little micro cuts everywhere. They hurt. Even as they become that big, it's interesting to watch how they adapt new products. And the most fascinating one for me right now is this new Fuzzy Bones, their weed water. Because this is the first time that they have quickly, relatively in the grand scheme of things, quickly jumped on a trendy product. However, they're not making it themselves, which I think is a very, very smart way to do it for them. They're not dumping a ton of money into some kind of expanded infrastructure to make it happen, something that is very expensive. It needs a pasteurizer. It's the same reason that they aren't making their own non-alcoholic beer. I gotta sneeze. Which is a similar conversation, but different. They're jumping on this product line without going all in on it, and I think that is that's the more exciting story. There are companies that are adapting, evolving, watching, experimenting without ignoring the world around them, which it feels like for a long time there were places that were ignoring the world around them. It gives me hope for these companies long term. There was a great article in the Brewer magazine about Mad Tree, kind of a similar idea about how they are not necessarily expanding, but they are refocusing on just doing everything that they do better, and that is the right way to grow right now. What is the quote that they had? There was a really great quote at the end of the article here. It is. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly. Nothing ever happens quickly around here. No, of course I can't. No, I can't pull it up quickly. That's fine. But it was something about how sustainable breweries, just that idea. Sustainable breweries that want to be around for the long term. You don't just grow for the sake of growth. You grow in the right ways, the smart ways, and Mad Tree is doubling down on who they are and how they do things instead of how big they are. And that is a very stark difference from, I think, what everybody said craft beer was supposed to do, even just a few years back. The model for craft beer, if you want to be successful, you have to keep growing. You just have to keep growing. And like I don't think that that's the case anymore. I think that is very far from the case now. I'm just now seeing this little pop-up warning saying that we've got some internet problems. Hopefully the signal has been fine for you guys. Let's see. Chris says, still some risk there with the current political climate. It's smart to do it this way. There's always risk. There's risk in any business. But even with the current political climate, like drinks aren't going anywhere. Stay true to who you are and what you do. And if things like shift to a point where, say, canned beer is a problem, and it's you can't get cans for a reasonable price anymore. We're talking about weed water. Say you can't get cans anymore for a reasonable price. Shift and evolve. Maybe you being on store shelves is not the smart play for a period of time. That's okay. And I understand that if you're a big company, that's a hard shift to make, but sometimes it's a shift that you have to make. It's a shift that you have to be ready to make and you have to be able to make. And we've seen big companies shift in that way and make it work. And I know that that's easy for me to say, not at the helm of one of those companies, but as far as weed water, Chris says it's still technically federally illegal. It is not. Weed water is federally legal. It is a loophole through the hemp bill, the farm bill. It's a gray area, if that's what you're referring to. It's not technically illegal. That's the whole. It's ridiculous. But to make it the right way, you need a pasteurizer, and there are not that many breweries that have a pasteurizer to make products like that. It's also one of the reasons that non-alcoholic beer is so difficult to make, because it's got to be pasteurized. Like, you can't put a product in cans that does not have alcohol and let it hang out. That's dangerous. It's also one of the reasons that there's a big kind of discussion about non-alcoholic beer, or I guess weed water would fall into this too, on draft. You don't see it. You don't see it very often. You see non-alcoholic a little bit more, but you don't really see weed water on draft because it's tough. It's tough to do it safely. You have to have extremely clean lines that are constantly cleaned and constantly recleaned to make sure nothing grows in there, because it's not like with beer, it'll just taste bad and maybe make you shit your pants. When you start talking about products that don't have alcohol, there's a lot of really, really nasty stuff that can grow in there, and it can do some really bad stuff. So it's got to be really clean. So you just don't see it a lot. It's too much work for, I think, a lot of people. Let's see. Chris says that gray area is not always a place to put all your eggs in. As we saw with the Ohio State House, you can have a massive investment get ripped out from under you. I would say that's not normal, and that shouldn't ever happen. We did see it happen in a very different way in 2020 when they shut all of bars and restaurants down for COVID. Everything was federally legal. Nobody was operating businesses illegally, yet it was still shut down. So I am kind of I am equating what DeWine did with Weedwater recently with the ban the same way that I am with the COVID shutdown. I think it's in hopefully it's in good spirit. Hopefully, I obviously don't know. I can't tell what anybody is thinking. Hopefully, it's in good spirit to do something that is good. But I don't think it's the right way to do it. I don't think you shut things down that are legally taking place. Ryan says breweries that go through an identity crisis in times of adversity are the ones that seem to struggle even more in those times. Yeah, everybody struggles at some point, and like there are very successful breweries here locally or elsewhere that have definitely struggled through some kind of either their own identity or through changing factors outside of their business or something else. Like everybody struggles sometimes, and anybody that has run a business, I think, understands that like sometimes there are struggles within that of figuring out ways to make things not only work but to make them still kind of connect to why you want to run that business in the first place. I don't know that in itself is abnormal. I think that struggle is okay. It's like it's how you struggle and what it looks like when you come out of the other side that I think is more important. And there are some places that don't come out in a great place on the other side. we all know those places. So is craft beer dead? No, obviously it's not. Like that's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. And I am about as sick of reading articles of people claiming that it is that you could possibly be. I don't want to hear it anymore. I think that if you are a writer and you're writing that article, you're an idiot. You should probably just stop. I get people click on it, and it's easy, fun clickbait. People will click on it. I did it with this episode. I mean, it's clickbait. I get it, but it's dumb. And if you're doing that, you're dumb. And I guess if I did it, I'm dumb. It's fine. Craft beer is alive and well. It looks different from day to day, and that's okay. I think when all this kind of shakes out and somehow evens out into some kind of normalcy, there will be things that we look out in the past that were blips on the radar, and there are things that we look at that we're like, okay, like this was an actual piece of this whole big movement that we can now see looking back on it, if that makes sense. And I think that the things that we thought were big, but sometimes are just blips on the bigger radar. And then the things that sometimes don't register at all are the things that that we should be paying attention to. The things that are lasting, the things that stick around, the things that you can't destroy after hundreds of years. That's the stuff that that makes this whole thing work. Craft beer will never be the most popular beverage. It'll never be as cool as whatever the latest trend is. But that doesn't mean it's not real, and it doesn't mean that it's not something that will still be around next year and the year after. So sorry for all of you people that want it to fail. It ain't gonna happen. Thank you guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you really like hanging out with me, guess what you should be doing on Black Friday? You should be hanging out with me. You should come down to Christian Moorline Lager House at the Banks, to Cincinnati Chris Kindle Market, and to the Holiday Beer Extravaganza. And you should hang out with me in person. We'll light fires inside of a tent, which is completely safe, and shove pieces of metal into said fire, and then shove said metal into beers and see what it does to said beers. Because I actually don't know why. I think just because it's fun. I think that's why we're going to do it. Best case scenario, it all tastes good and it's entertaining and it's fun and everybody has a good time. Worst case scenario, we get kicked out of the whole beer festival and have to go somewhere else and burn things by ourselves. That's the worst case scenario. But either way, it'll be great. And I think we can still make a podcast out of that. And I will be recording live. This is a live show. We're recording a podcast on location. So be there, hang out with us, do this thing in person, and you'll see that it's not all about schnapps and sad news articles. Sometimes it's about burning things. And I think that's probably a tagline for the show. I appreciate all of you for hanging out with me. If you like this, if you like any of the stuff that I do, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support and become a patron over there, a Gnomie. The Gnomies get first access to all of the cool stuff that I do, or most of the cool stuff that I do, because sometimes I'm just behind schedule, and it just makes more sense just to publish. I'm going to be completely honest. I think that this week I'm going to give the Gnomies a kind of behind-the-scenes peek at my next video, which was supposed to post today. That was on my calendar, the way I had it laid out. It was supposed to be done today and posting this morning for you guys. It didn't post. It's not even recorded. It's not done. I have all of the supplies for it sitting over here, and I have most of kind of the outline done. We're working on titles and thumbnails and all kinds of exciting stuff that is actually kind of boring when I word it like that. It's hopefully the behind the scenes sneak peek that you guys get will be more exciting than it sounds like right now. But that's the cool stuff that you get as a Gnomie. And then, podcasts, when they get edited in time, you get those before everybody else. You get first dibs at everything, and you get direct access to my ear. If you're a Gnomie and you get on there and you send me a message and be like, hey man, look, I like what you're doing, but on the Weekly Pint, I really don't think you should drink Hefeweizens ever. And if a couple of you guys say that to me, and you're Gnomies, I won't drink Hefeweizens on the Weekly Pint ever, because you guys get first dibs at everything, including a share of my brain. You direct everything. Julia says, if we get kicked out, I'm setting fire to one of the gnome domes with a poker first. I think it's just one big gnome dome. I don't even know if there's other little gnome domes. I have no idea. So I know there's one big one. Big old gnome dome. Chris says, everyone should make sure they have an Edmund Fitzgerald for next Monday. It's the 50th anniversary. Oh, okay. We might be able to do that. I think. Hopefully that's not. Okay. I think we can make that happen. Although I am also working at this other role that involves the micro cuts on my hands. I'm doing that again next Monday. So I might be just as grumpy as I am right now then. We'll see. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being a part of this whole thing that we call the Weekly Pint. It really is kind of some kind of weird experiment. This was never supposed to be an actual show. It's not a show. That's why I say it's not a show, because it was never supposed to be. It really is just an excuse to hang out with people and have a beer or a drink and talk about things that are going on. And so I appreciate you guys for making this be what it is. And we'll see how it keeps growing and how it keeps evolving and how it keeps getting better. In the meantime, drink something good, be gnarly, drink local. We will see you next time. I can't drink a beer and hit buttons at the same time. We'll see you guys next time. That's a little loud in my ears. That's fine. Cheers, everybody. For the record, we are now cracking open hoodie season from Street Side. This is my seasonal pick that we didn't get to because I talk too much. But I'm drinking it. This is a caramel apple sour. Cool. Okay, holy crap. It's like, hang on, I gotta turn this thing off. How do I do this? Look at the color. It's green. Caramel apple. Green. Wow, whatever.